What's up, guys? Jimmy here with Jake Heiser, Custom MX. Completely different project going on in the shop today. Now, I've still got my KX project going on behind me. I'm still working on, but kind of in the midst of working on that, you're absolutely not going to believe what I have picked up and what I'm going to attempt to restore and get back going again. Now, the problem here is I didn't think to make a lot of good video on what this thing looked like before. I've got a few vertical from my phone. I'm gonna, put it on here, but basically, what I've got is this. Yeah, this is a 1966. I hope I say this right. Aermacchi Harley Davidson M50. It is the smallest Harley Davidson engine ever produced. Actually, an Italian-made bike. Aermacchi, I guess, is the brand who made it in Italy. From my understanding, Harley bought them, and then they produced this bike for several years. I went to pick up a new sandblaster, and I got to talking to a guy who had it for sale, and he had this thing in his garage. An hour later, it's in the back of my truck, and here we are. So, never turned down a good challenge, right? Well, I didn't. So, anyway, I've got a few things going on. I've already, believe it or not, I have already been able to get the thing to run, barely, but I did. So, I've got the motor on the bench, I've got the frame here, I've got some missing parts, I've got some forks over here. It's just kind of crazy. I hope I can get this thing back together the right way, but here we go. This is what I'm starting out with. Let's take a look. All right, guys, if you, as you just saw, I have the frame basically taken apart other than the rear shocks and the fender, and I've got it just sitting on the ground. Now, right over here, I've got the forks for this bike semi taken apart. There's a seat and I guess like a luggage compartment thing or a little storage rack sitting there. And then over in this area here, let's see here, I've got the exhaust. I've got a bucket full of parts. There's the pegs, the rear brake, some things such as that, the kickstart, and part of the carburetor. Let's see if I'm having a hard time getting in focus here. Let's see if we can do a little better job. There we go. So I've got all these items here and then just a tub full of things. And then over on the bench, I've got the engine apart and it looks pretty cruddy. It runs good. I'm not going to fool around with the clutch or anything that much because trying to get parts for it is going to be very, very difficult, if not impossible. I've got the side covers here. It's hard to see. I don't have good light here, but you can see the Harley. Let me see if I can turn my. There we go. You see the Harley badge on there, and that's pretty much it. That's what we've got to go with here. Now I've got the cylinder here and the cylinder head. So what I'm going to do is get these things. I'm getting focus here. I'm struggling. Get these things basically apart, the rest of it apart, and then the engine on the bench, and go from there. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically just call this part one because I got a lot of work to do. I've got, as you saw, I've got the engine on the bench, I've got the cylinder off, I've got a lot of cleaning to do on the cases. I want to be really careful because I don't really want to disassemble this engine really. As much as possible. I'd like to keep most of it together. It runs, it shifts, all that's good. I've checked all those things. I'm just afraid if I get too deep into it, it's over. There's going to be something in there that I'm not going to be able to get back together, or there's not going to be a part for something could happen. The clutches are good. Things are pretty good in it. So I'm just taking a chance that the rest of it's good. I just know that I was able to get it started. I was able to shift. I can tell the transmission works smoothly. I've been able to do all those things. It's a cable shift mechanism. So it's a strange deal. So I got a lot of work to do. This is not going to be a quick project, but it's going to be an interesting one, a fun one, maybe a challenging one. So first things first, I'm going to go ahead and get to work on the cylinder head, get these things cleaned up, smoothed out, see how we look. The piston appears to be okay. Again, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get another piston for it. It's not worn out really at all, that much. I don't know how much this thing was ridden. I just don't have a lot of history on it. So that's where I'm starting. Get the engine back to where I need it to be. Believe it or not, I found basically a new old stock gasket set for it. I mean, I've bought it, so we'll see. It's not here yet. We'll see what it looks like when I get here, or when it gets here, and hopefully everything's still in good shape. We'll see, which includes some seals, some other gaskets, some things I need. And then the next thing I've got to do is find the air filter, or the air filter cage for the carburetor. How hard do you think that's going to be? We'll see. But while I work on those things, I'll go ahead and get the frame prepped and ready to go to powder coating, at least get that much done. And some of the other parts that I can get powder coated, I'll go ahead and do that. As I go along, I mean, I could be investing in something that just doesn't pan out. So that's a little bit of a tricky thing in this particular build. So I'm probably just going to have to go for it, and that's going to be the way to go, rather than try to get everything all back together and working and then take it all back apart again. I have some faith that I'll get it done, maybe. We'll see. So anyway, part one, follow along, and hopefully I'll have some progress in part two coming up soon, so stay tuned for that. Talk to you guys soon. All right, let's see if we can keep it running this time.
That is nuts.
All right, she runs.